Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. We've got some malicious compliance stories, so let's jump right into our first story of the day by Fin letter M20. I'm not sure it qualifies because it wasn't particularly malicious. In the mid-90s, I got my first tech support job working for a company called CPS Payment Systems in Tennessee. The company irked me because their name was Company Payment Systems Payment Systems. That's close to its real name. I was doing subcontracted tech support for a company I'll call Webcon, but that's not its real name. This company sold lifetime internet over dial-up through our infrastructure from our parent contract's backbone. They sold these packages for $200 or so at state fairs. They got away with this thanks to a very strict user agreement. Any concurrent logins or access for more than 8 hours a day invalidated the agreement. They were fond of canceling the accounts of people who got ghost dropped and dialed back in. The day before this happened, we had a meeting. Myself and my buddy Tom, that's not his name, with the QA team who had received a complaint from the Webcon people about us incorrectly categorizing our tickets. Me and Tom were the only two agents working for Webcon 5 days out of the week. Neither of us really knew what the problem was, as they didn't have any specific examples, but we promised to do as they said and always choose the most appropriate category to close the ticket under. This was their very specific instruction in writing on the review forms they had us sign. The next day, I got a call from a nice old man who couldn't get his internet connection working. It turned out he had actually forgotten to dial in and had just opened his browser. After he realized the mistake, he was very apologetic and ended the call with, "I was just stupid, sorry to bother you." Those exact words. When I was closing out the ticket, I looked through the category list harder than I had before and noticed that, while the first 25 or so were very professional, there were dozens more under it that were snarky, sarcastic, or just plain mean. You just had to keep scrolling. I giggled a bit as I looked through them. Near the bottom was one that simply said, "Customer was stupid." I smiled a bit, told Tom about it, and we laughed for a bit. Then I closed it out. Customer was stupid. 2 days later, I called into HR. They accused me of being abusive towards the customers and unprofessional. I asked what it was about. They showed me the printout of the ticket, explained how saying a customer was stupid was not acceptable, and they were going to have to let me go. This was not my first visit to HR, sadly. They believed I had hacked the system, planted the offensive category description, and then used it. I tried to explain about the QA meeting, the need for accuracy, the customer's verbal statement, and the large number of other very questionable closing categories that were in the database, which I could only choose from and could not add, delete, or edit. They didn't want to hear anything about it, and I was fired. I signed the paperwork, and my supervisor stood up with me to walk me out of the building. A few feet from the HR office, the director of the building was talking to someone. I had never met him personally, but I recognized him. Me and my supervisor were talking pretty emphatically about what happened being wrong and possible appeals, etc. The director asked what was going on, my manager explained the situation, and the director told us to wait there, stepped into the HR office for 2 minutes and came back out. He asked me if anyone who was still employed there could show what I had explained from the ticketing system, and I said sure enough, Tom can do that. 10 minutes later, he came back, HR manager in tow, and ordered her to reinstate me on the spot. Now that is an absolutely stand-up director. To be honest, it's just filing a ticket, so I doubt the customer would ever actually see "customer is stupid," let alone the fact that that is what they said. All that said, if it was you, would you have gone ahead and filed it under "customer is stupid" for the joke, or would you have tried to keep it a little bit more professional? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Our next story is by SugarDaddy24. Phone? Sorry, just my diabetes pump. My school was quite small. We had a graduating class of 92, so everyone knew everyone. All the teachers were amazing and very involved in our academic lives, but for the most part had nothing but good intentions. Unfortunately, there was one teacher, our English AP teacher, who was just an absolute jerk. She was the type of teacher that if she saw you with your cell phone out, even during lunch or in between classes, that she would take it, give it to the principal, and give you a detention. I decided to mess with her one day because she was quite clearly in a pissed off mood and the opportunity was perfect. I was standing in line for lunch and I got my pump out. I was diagnosed with diabetes at age 8 and have had a pump since 9. It looks a whole lot like a cell phone other than the tube running from it to my body. Without really looking closely, it can easily be confused with a cell phone. She sees me playing with my pump and comes over to me. This is obviously not exact words used. I more than likely was a little more disrespectful, but I definitely knew the boundaries and would never be so blatantly rude or disrespectful that it would deem necessary to get a detention. Give it to me now and follow me to the principal's office. No, I need this to live. Give it to me now, I will not ask again. No, leave me alone, I just want to eat my lunch. She then grabs my arm and drags me to the principal's office. I was very close to the principal as I was the class president, so I spent a lot of time with her planning school events and such. This student had her phone out during lunch, refused to give it to me, and was rude and backtalked me. Principal says, "Is this true?" "No ma'am, my cell phone is currently in my locker." "I saw you playing with it in line." Principal says, "OP, please give us your cell phone." I say, "Okay, follow me to my locker then." "No, give it to us now, it is in your pocket." "No, it's not." "Then empty your pockets." I proceed to empty my pockets, which was a pack of gum, and then I have my pump in my hand because it's connected to me, so I can't put it on the table. "Why would you lie to me when you obviously have it in your hand?" "This is my diabetes pump." "Why didn't you tell me?" "You never asked if it was a cell phone, you just tried taking it away from me." "This is ridiculous, you need to show more respect." Principal says, "I think we are done here. Teacher, you can leave, I will talk with OP." Teacher leaves and is quite obviously pissed off about the situation. I tell principal the truth about the trap I set for teacher and that I hope she isn't pissed at me and I won't do it again. She chuckles a little bit, tells me to go eat lunch, and she will see me later for a school fundraiser event. I never had another encounter with teacher, and during class, she made it a point to try not to talk to me. Well, I see this as an absolute win. This angry, always out to get you kind of teacher backed off and was trying to avoid you because you had a diabetes pump. It was all just a prank and it actually ended up giving you a very nice reward, not having to deal with this teacher watching over you like a hawk. This next story was written by Eric Davis 1240214. Sorry, replacement, I'm not training you. This happened over 18 years ago, but I remember it like yesterday. I had worked for a law firm in a clerical role for about 3 years. Though not a lawyer, I ended up doing a lot of work that lawyers normally handled, but not for lawyer pay. Anyway, I landed my dream job in another field. More interesting, better hours, better benefits, double the pay. I hit the jackpot, and was on my second from last day at the law firm, having respectfully given and honored my 2 weeks' notice. As it happened, I needed to take an extended lunch break one day to handle some business related to my pending new job. I arranged it ahead of time and even came in 2 hours early to make sure all my work was completed on time. Darn, I was too conscientious. Anyway, my lunch business took me longer than expected and I returned about an hour later than planned. No big deal, right? I had very little left to do and only 2 more days of that job anyway. Nope. The HR manager found me as I got to my desk, called me to her office, and fired me on the spot. I managed not to smile and thank her because I was thrilled to have an extra couple of days off before heading to my new position. I had a little spring in my step as I walked to my desk to pack up my stuff. I can neither confirm nor deny that I was whistling a happy tune. In truth, there was only one thing I still had needed to do on my final 2 days. Though not a lawyer, I essentially took care of all the estate planning clients, wills, advanced medical directives, and such. I take all of the info from the clients, generate all the forms, check for compliance with all the laws, and hand it to the attorney. He'd skim it, sign it, and bill his hourly rate for the hours I worked. It was a cash cow for the firm because I made next to nothing. Anyway, though I was good at the work, the files were rather a mess. Let's just say my system worked for me, but it was eclectic. As I was packing my desk, I left them piled in a box on the floor. Moments before I was preparing to walk out of there for the last time, the young attorney, yes, attorney, who had been assigned to take over that part of my work, came up to my desk. He said, "HR manager told me to come find you and have you show me the estate planning files. She said you'd show me what I need to do." I had the incredible pleasure of being able to look at him and say, with the most sincere and innocent tone, "I'm sorry, I don't work here." Then I pointed at the pile of files and suggested HR manager would have to help him. Then I picked up my box of personal effects and walked away. And, just as sweet as could be, poked my head into the HR manager's office on my way out to assure her that there were no hard feelings and to let her know young attorney was probably going to be looking for her. Yeah, they really shot themselves in the foot there. You're already on the way out, and you're still working there and you're still being a contributing worker. And not only that, but you're valuable to the development of the staff that still works there. But no, the HR manager has to be a stickler and kick you out of there, and now, guess what? They're pretty screwed. The next story is by facefullofkittens. She said save everything, so I did. Until December of last year, my stepsister, 30, lived with my father, 78, along with her boyfriend, 40, and their 4 kids. My father supported them all financially, leaving him unable to retire. In April, I had free time, so I went to Florida to help my father prepare to sell his house. I arrived to find it was completely trashed. Like, if he hadn't been so rural, health department probably would have condemned it trashed. The 3 rooms occupied by my step and her kids were the worst. Literally shin deep in beer cans, cigarette butts, soiled diapers, pet waste. It was awful. It took over 400 labor hours to get the house clean and repaired. And I used to be a professional cleaner, so I'm fast. When I got to her spaces, she informed my father that witch better not throw any of my stuff away or I'll kick her butt. So I didn't. I went into the rooms and shoveled literally everything, dirty diapers and all, into trash bags and put them into the garage for her to pick up at her convenience. I'm just worried for whatever kids and pets are involved in the situation. Soiled diapers and pet waste? These kids shouldn't have to live in conditions like this, and those pets? I'm worried how well they're taking care of the pets, that's for sure. And our final story of the day is by CaligulaTheRuler. Man asks for everything on his burger, proceeds to get everything on his burger. This story takes place back to when my mom was in high school working at a Dairy Queen. She was working the grill while her coworker was at the drive-thru. A guy orders a double cheeseburger and then asks to put everything on it. The coworker explained what everything was at the time. Lettuce, tomato, onion, and pickles with condiments. The guy explains that's not what he meant and raises his voice. "I said I want everything, so you better give me everything." The coworker calls him to the window and the manager again explains to him what everything was and repeats what coworker said. The guy who just ordered is now getting pissed for no reason and is just being an absolute tick at this point. Mom drops the guy's bag to be handed to him and hears the guy starting to cuss at her manager. The guy eventually cuts the manager off and yells, "Just give me everything you have back there." The manager slams the window and takes the order to the back with my mom right behind. Mom is told to grab whatever food she can find and to put it on the burger. She doesn't remember everything as this was over 2 decades ago, but it had chili, horseradish, chicken, bacon, and then a full hand of pickles for good measure. Pretty much take a look at the menu back then and they made sure it was on the burger. Everything except for ice cream. Mom and her manager looked at each other with a grin on their face. They needed 3 sheets just to even wrap it. The manager then walked the order out to the guy himself and told him to enjoy. I guess the guy didn't like it, as he never came back. I can only imagine what was going on in this guy's life to make him act like this. All belligerent and upset, oh, I want everything on it. If you're gonna ask for everything, can't you clarify as the customer who is ordering what everything is? And then when the workers explain to you what everything is, that's not good enough and you get belligerent over it? Hopefully he enjoyed his horseradish, weird chili bacon pickle handful sandwich burger thing. Obviously he never came back, so he probably didn't, but still, he got what he deserved. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today, so if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which one and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe if you haven't. And make sure to click the bell to turn notifications on too so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you did, whether it was liking, commenting, subscribing, thank you for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. It all helps the channel grow immensely, so thank you so very much for supporting me. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and until next time, I'll be reading even more stories to share with you guys right here on the Storytime channel.